Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to take a look at Vlad the Nightborn, a very controversial fragment summon champion inside the game. This guy has drawn the ire from many in the community. Today, I think that honestly, guys, I think that life is a game of expectations. If you want to be happy in life, just go in with low or modest expectations, and you're bound to be pleasantly surprised more often than not. If you have high expectations, you're probably going to be let down a lot in life, and that also applies to Raid Shadow Legends. I kid, but I actually don't kid. You ever go see a movie after somebody says, don't even waste your time with that movie, it's trash, and then you see it anyway, and you're like, well, I actually kind of liked it, because, maybe a big part in that was your expectations being a little bit lower based on the feedback of your friends. It's happened to me a lot in life. I think it's probably happened to you too.
Have you ever seen a psychiatrist? Because that is fucking mental.
And that was my experience with Vlad the Nightborn. Hashtag not a trash champion. Let me talk about the bad on Vlad first. The bad on Vlad. First of all, I go for every single fragment summon in the game, and you guys know my style. I don't like to hypothesize how good or bad a champion will be until I actually have them on my account, had a chance to play test them for a few days. So generally, we don't talk too much about fragment summons or fusions here on the channel until I actually max them and build them and try them in various areas of the game. It's still fun to do so. I'm not like taking shots at anybody else, but I like to actually get my hands on the champion, right? And I'm not calling out YouTubers here. It's really, all over the place, right? The whales are the most diehard players inside the community, and they're the most vocal players inside the community. And, we tend to forget as content creators, as whoever, right? That, most people playing the game are not end game whales, right? So a champion like Vlad can actually help them out quite a bit, can help out your average player in progression. I take that all into consideration before I give the downside. The downside is, if you look at his kit, it's kind of underwhelming, right? I mean, he has a very hard-hitting A1. There's a 4-time multiplier on his A1, which is actually really good because he's a viable part of an ally attack team or a counterattack team, okay? A 4-time multiplier on an A1 is really, really high. He also has the decreased enemy max HP. We'll go through the whole kit in a second here, but, suffice it to say, he's a Void legendary. They should be really good. You can compare him to a lot of epics in the game, minus the damage. The damage is what makes him a little bit special. Void legendary special? No. I want to be very clear in that.
Okay. That's enough.
But it makes him more special than your average champion because the rest of what he does isn't that exciting, right? He's a good turn meter control, good damage champion, and kind of that's about it. A good Scarab King specialist as well. Scarab King, by the way, he can duo Scarab King with Scylla the Drakes, or even trio with Vizix, Scylla Drakes, in Vlad. I saw Murder Inc. doing that on his channel. So, at the very least, he can help even endgame players in that regard, give them kind of an OP champion option for a specific Doom Tower boss. But other than that, guys, he's not insane. He's a good champion who can deal a lot of damage. Let me see what the reviews say. Probably going to be very bad. Yeah, very, very bad. But again, I would not read into this. The people who have their hands on this champion first are the whales. So they're grading on a curve here. They're grading on a curve. So somebody like me, will I use Vlad the Nightborn? I think maybe against Scarab King. But other than that, probably not, right? I already have, better options pretty much everywhere in the game. I think his best use cases are going to be progression, basically in any dungeon. He is Void Affinity, so no bad affinity matchups. And I think that in the Faction Wars, obviously, he's going to be great for control, especially for progression there. In the arena, he's going to be a great option for you guys in the arena because he does hit very hard. However, not as good of an option, as I said, compared to even some epics like Genbo the Dishonored. I'd much rather have Genbo or even Magnar than Vlad in the arena. But some people can use him to kind of speed farm and work on their Great Hall inside the arena.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
He's an underwhelming Void legendary, but overall, not a bad champion. An AoE attack with a leech is going to help you out, obviously, with the heals. He also has turn meter. From some factions, he can steal the turn meter. From other factions, he's just going to reduce the turn meter, which is, again, pretty cool ability. 3-turn cooldown. That multiplier, by the way, is a that is a 4.7. A 4.7 AoE multiplier with turn meter control is really good, right? On the A3, Mind Shroud, this is his debuffs. Decrease defense and block activation active skills for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, solid. And if both debuffs are placed, he places a perfect veil on himself for 2 turns, which is actually important because this guy is pretty fragile. His HP 15k, his defense 1100. It's not the worst in the game, but it's not that crazy either. So that perfect veil is going to mitigate 15% of damage coming from AoE attacks. He's going to be applying to himself, right? So not a bad ability as well. That's a 3.3 multiplier. So not very hard hitting, but again, it's all about the perfect veil and the debuffs on that skill. And then his passive is a revive on death for 2 turns every time this champion kills an enemy. This is, kind of underwhelming in PvE content, but in the arena, I found that he has revive on death more often than not, because usually he's killing at least somebody on his first wave, and then if somebody attacks him or counterattacks him or whatever, he's a little squishy, if he dies, more often than not, he's going to have that revive on death to pick himself back up. His aura is crit rate in arena battles, whatever. Masteries, I went very kind of bland on this one. He's great against waves. Doom Tower waves is going to be great for a lot of you guys. Turn meter control again on that A2 with a lot of damage. So I went with Helm Smasher because I think that, War Master, if you're just going to use him against bosses, just going to use him. Clan Boss, I think he's kind of underwhelming, by the way. But if you're going to use him against Scarab King, I would definitely go War Master. If you want to use him in waves, in progression, in other dungeons, really, I would prefer Helm Smasher and the arena, of course. So I went Helm Smasher. I also went Master Hexer and picked up Lore of Steel as well. With this dude, in terms of building him, I want attack, trying to maximize his damage, obviously. So I want attack on the ring, crit damage on the amulet. I want to try to get away with going attack on the banner and not accuracy. So in order to do that, I have this great rare banner here, attack with more attack on the substats and a double speed roll. Thank you very much. That's a really great artifact for a rare, right? I was able to get away with putting that on him instead of accuracy by going for perception. Perception, you guys know how much I love perception sets. Man, it's my go-to, right? It's my go-to on so many champions inside this game. So I went double perception. That's 80 accuracy right there. A little bit of speed. And then I didn't need any more accuracy. 324 is fine for where I'm going to be using him. So I didn't want to go overkill. Instead, I went with crit damage on the last set instead to try to maximize, again, that damage or get some more damage. So I went attack percentage on the chest. I went speed on the boots, crit damage on the... I just actually forged this earlier today in Clan vs. Clan. Really nice piece here. Triple roll on crit rate on crit damage. Really, really cool. And then I went, obviously, looking for crit rate, speed, accuracy. Crit rate, speed, accuracy. Crit rate, speed, accuracy are the substats that I'm most interested in. I still need to totally glyph him out as well, so we'll get even a little bit better. In terms of total stats, we have 94 crit rate. Need to cap him a little bit higher, obviously. 246 on crit damage. 324 on accuracy. It's kind of an all-around build. He's fast at 210 speed, and he has a decent amount of attack at 4600. So, maybe you could argue, get a little bit more attack and sacrifice maybe a little accuracy, depending on where you're using him. Again, today, it's an all-around build. You never just carbon copy any champion inside the game. Let's start him out in the arena or carbon copy anybody else's build for a champion. It depends on your teams. It depends on who you're using them with. It depends on where you are inside the game, right? If you're Doom Tower normal, why would you need 325 accuracy? Let's go against, let's see. All these teams kind of suck, huh? And let's go against this team first. So here he is as our nuker on this team. Now, keep in mind, there are some factions going to get that turn meter steal, some that he won't, so that will, factor into how effective he is. Here's his A2. There you go, 108 to 120, 130k damage. Really, that's the same amount of damage in the same type of artifact, same type of gear that Genbo the Dishonored puts out for me, even accounting for his increased crit rate, crit damage, on his A3. So he's dealing a lot of damage. Again, 4.7 multiplier is really, really solid on that A2. So he can be a viable nuker for you guys. The reason I would go with Genbo over him, though, quite simply because he has the ignore unkillable, and that's really, really handy, and the damage is close either way. So let's go against this team here, and then let's refresh, try to find some more challenging teams here. So already, I figure a lot of you guys, if you don't have Genbo, you don't have maybe Magnar, Trunda, champions like that, he could be a great AoE nuker. The nice thing about him, I prefer, I mentioned this on my Genbo video, but I prefer a Void Affinity Arena nuker if I can get by with one, right? And reason being is I don't have to sub in and sub out based on negative affinity matchups. If I go against, a Candrafon, Rector Draft team, I'm not stressing it. I just go with the Void Affinity, right? So let's go against this Krisk team here. Kind of weird they have Seer on this team. Watch them kill me now. Lydia, Seer, Arbiter, and Krisk. All right, here he goes again. Boom. And again, that one, a little bit less damage there. I want to 60 to 80k, 60 to 90k, but still got the job done. So he can definitely be, let's go against this. I really like this combo, man. I think that Manaya and Kornar are, you know, up there in terms of one of the best tandems in the game. Not in terms of the best individual champions, but as a pair, they have really nice companion champion synergy. So this is Doom Tower hard, guys. We're going to start out against the highest level Celestial Griffin that we can face. Now listen, is he a beast against, let's just go through the areas of the game real quick. I'm not going to show you this team in the background here. Campaign, sure, whatever, right? Arena, good. Faction Wars, great. Or Arena, great, good, great. You guys can be the judge. Basically, all the dungeons, serviceable except for Fire Knight, I would say. And then in terms of the potion keeps, he's good all over the place, right? Doom Tower floors, he's great. Scarab King, fantastic. The Griffin, I would say he's pretty dang good. Magma Dragon, pretty dang good. The other bosses, that remains to be seen. But I don't think he's necessarily super trash, except for against like Bommel. I wouldn't use him against Bommel. Nether Spider, I don't think he's going to be helping you guys out against. But really, Frost Spider, Eternal Dragon, Dark Fae, I feel like you can use this guy, you know, as kind of a flex role for your team. The question is sure, you can use him. You can have success with him. But is he that much better than other options? And really, that's where the downside of this champion lies, right? You probably, in some of these areas, have just better fits for these bosses, but he can play a key role on a lot of these teams. Against trickier Doom Tower waves as well. He's a turn meter beast and help you out a lot with the damage as well. So here we go. We're going against the Celestial Griffin here. He's good against a Celestial Griffin. This team, I have Tyrell as my debuffer. I have Syl the Drakes for heals. I have Ninja, and I have Doom Priest for the cleanse. She's going to be really useful there on the cleanse, on the stun on herself, right?
Hard work, hard work. That's what they say. Hard work, hard work.
But either way, she will get a turn eventually here, and she will start cleansing. But you guys can see that, again, Syl's got everything on lockdown in terms of the heals. Ninja's going to be carrying the burden of the DPS there with his A2 against the Griffin. And that's why, again, I feel like people I feel like, generally speaking, what I see on Reddit, what I see, and this is, again, no offense to anybody here, I'm not trying to like take shots. But what I see from people is, going back to the first point that I made in the video, is I see like too much of a focus on the end game on these champions, right? Same thing with Ninja, dude. Like, Ninja is viable in the end game. But go back and look, man. I mean, it's out there everywhere, right? YouTube videos, streams, and Reddit posts, people hating on him out the gate, saying it was underwhelming. And I was like, sure, I got that one right. I said he was going to be a beast since day one, you know, because of that A2. However, I've gotten plenty of stuff wrong as well in the past, right? But for me, it's just like, dude, just wait a little bit, right? Give him a try, A. And B, think of the overall player base as well, right? Don't just think of a small subset of the most hardcore players like yours truly, right? So anyway, whatever. That's kind of like just overall thoughts to you guys. Is it goes hand in hand with like the rankings or the ratings in game on these champions. Is don't, just because you pull a champion, especially if it's a new champion early on, don't look at anything. Form your own opinion. Try them in a few different teams, even at level 50, you know, to get a feel. And you know, definitely go to hellhades.com or yumilove.net, excuse me. That will be linked in the description for below for you guys, by the way. And look at the damage multipliers. If they're an attack-based champion, look at how much damage they're putting out. Now, the reason I'm showing you these two teams, guys, is they're both, or at least this one, is an ally attack team. And again, because of that 4-time multiplier on that A1, that's incredibly hard, guys. He has a good role as a damage dealer against bosses even. I would, again, use War Master instead of Helm Smasher in those situations. Now, unfortunately, he did die there, so he's not going to be putting out a ton of damage when he's dead, but you guys get the point. If you're lucky enough to have Skull Crusher or Valkyrie or I just used her, Wyant Martyr, there you go. You have a counterattack champion, go ahead and put him on those squads, those teams, right? And if you don't, if you have an ally attack champion, Fokker in the Fat is a great tandem champion for him, as well as you get extra crit damage as well in that exchange, as well as any of the other Atlanticus the Chosen's, Krilla Witch Arm if you have her, Longbeard, etc., etc. I mean, look at this, guys. He died for half that battle against the boss, right? Almost. And he still put up more damage than Magnar, who's a beast, Krilla, and Iron Brago, right? Only Razin out-damaged him. By the way, if you missed my Razin video, 2 days ago? 2 days ago. I rebuilt Rosin. Now I'm a big fan of him all of a sudden, right? I didn't use the dude. He was just sitting there in the vault for, I don't know, a year and a half. And now I rebuilt him. I put some better gear on him, tried him on with some different teams. If you missed that video, it was fun. And now I really like Rosin, and he dealt the most damage out of all these champions as well. So guys, we're going to end the video there, but you guys get it. You get the point, right? He's a pretty decent champion. I would always go for fragment summons. Disagree with me. I know I'll get hate for saying that because it does water down the void champion pool, which really sucks. There's no doubt about that. But I hope even if you didn't want him, you still went for him because it's fairly easy compared to a fusion. As long as you're managing and logging in every day and taking a look at the tournaments and the events. And B, I mean, he could be a life token. If you hate him that much, just use him as a life token when the dupe system comes and exchange him for, I don't know, Sir Nick or something like that, right? So you guys have some options, even worst case scenario. And, you know, that remains to be, I wouldn't use him for a life token even if I hated him because they buffed Vizix, they buffed other Void legendaries in the past. So I would at least hold on to him, even if you don't have a use case for him. So guys, we're going to end the video there. Let me know what you think of Vlad in the comments below. Thank you for watching. And as always, take care, guys.